There the story begins with the cold, echoing voice of the Emperor, Yhwach. He speaks of a dream that he says is as wonderful as a nightmare. He looks out across the battlefield and claims he can see everything, the suffering of his enemies and the loyalty of his followers. He greets Ichigo Kurosaki as his son born in the darkness and challenges him to come forward, declaring that no one can stop him. However, a crucial piece of information is revealed. Yhwach's godlike power only swaps and becomes vulnerable while he is sleeping. This is the only time he does not possess the full power of the Almighty. Uryu Ishida confirms this to Ichigo, telling him that now is the only time to strike because the Emperor does not have his full foresight. Uryu urges Ichigo to head to the very top of the palace, Varwelt, while he stays behind to handle the situation below. As Ichigo and Orihime Inoue prepare to ascend, there is a moment of heavy emotion. Ichigo asks Uryu if he is really staying, and Uryu tells him not to waste time talking and to just go. Orihime admits she feels a sense of relief. She never truly believed Ishida had turned evil, but hearing him speak his truth confirms that he is still the same friend they always knew. Meanwhile, Yasutora Sado, Chad, remains behind as well, clearing the way of Stone Guardians so Ichigo can focus solely on the path ahead. At the same time, the Grandmaster Haschwalth confronts Uryu. He is surprised by the change in Uryu's demeanor, noting that his face is now filled with hope. Haschwalth admits that he did not see this version of Uryu in his visions, proving that his borrowed power to see the future is not perfect. Haschwalth mocks Uryu's tactical choices, like trying to narrow the range of attack by backing against a wall, claiming he sees everything anyway. The stakes are raised as the characters notice massive cracks appearing in the sky. These are distortions caused by an overwhelming amount of energy. Haschwalth explains that everything is moving according to the Emperor's plan. By invading the Soul Society and killing a massive number of hollows, the Quincy's have destroyed the balance of souls. The deaths of General Yamamoto and the Zero Division further destabilized existence. The Soul King, who acted as the wedge holding the three worlds together, is gone, and Yhwach has taken that power. The cracks in reality are the beginning of the end for the world of the living, the Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo. The Emperor's true Bankai is the creation of a new world, a kingdom for the Quincy's where death is erased, built on the ruins of the old worlds. Haschwalth declares that his duty is to execute any traitors who stand in the way of this divine mission. Below the main palace, one of the most complex battles takes place. Yoruichi Shihoin is fighting the Sternritter Askin Naklevar, who uses the death-dealing. Askin has trapped Yoruichi in a gift ball, a toxic field where he can control the lethal dose of any substance. Yoruichi is nearly dead, her body struggling against the hybrid poison Askin has injected into her. Kisuke Urahara arrives just in time, but instead of a typical rescue, he injects Yoruichi with a special drug. This triggers her Shunshin Chohenge, Thunder Beast battle form. In this state, Yoruichi becomes like a wild, moody cat made of lightning. Her spiritual energy, Reiatsu, is completely unstable, changing 48 times every single second. Urahara explains that because her energy is always shifting, Askin's body cannot build immunity to it. It is like a flu virus that changes so fast that a vaccine is impossible to create. However, Askin reveals his Vollständig, Haschine. His ability allows him to adapt to any change in poison as long as the base stays the same. He creates the Gift Ball Deluxe, a massive dome that he claims is absolutely impossible to escape from. Inside, he mocks Urahara, telling him that no matter how much they change their energy, they can no longer even scratch him. Urahara, pushed to the edge, reveals his Bankai, Kenenbiraki Benihime Aratame. This is the first time he has used it in front of others. Its power is the ability to restructure or remake anything it touches. When Askin tries to blind Urahara or poison his blood, Urahara simply uses his Bankai to remake his eyes and his veins. Urahara's final strategy is a masterclass in preparation. He admits that while the Gift Ball Deluxe is impossible to escape, Askin never said it was impossible to enter. Urahara uses his Bankai to create a path for an outside ally, Grimmjow Jägershekes. Grimmjow, whose energy had been specifically prepared for this moment, jumps into the dome and rips out Askin's heart. But Askin has a final trap. As he dies, the Gift Ball Deluxe intensifies because the lock he kept on its power to protect himself is released, threatening to crush everyone inside. Simultaneously, Captains Hitsugaya, Byakuya, and Kenpachi are fighting Gerard Valkyrie. Gerard is a giant who grows stronger based on the fear and hope of his enemies. Hitsugaya is forced to use his matured adult Bankai form to freeze Gerard's shield and his cursed sword, Hoffnung. The battle is chaotic. Kenpachi uses his raw strength to cleave the giant, but this only causes Gerard to regenerate into a more divine, light-based form. Gerard explains that the miracle is the manifestation of the people's thoughts, and as long as they fear him, he is invincible. The captains struggle to work together, with Kenpachi and Byakuya bickering even as they face a literal god. At the top of the palace, Ichigo and Orihime face Yhwach. Orihime uses her Santen Keshun to reject the Emperor's massive energy, finally fighting as an equal beside Ichigo. Yhwach reveals a horrifying truth. The Soul Society leaders, especially the monk Ichibe, never intended for Ichigo to be a hero. Their plan was to turn Ichigo into the next Soul King, a mindless, limbless sacrifice to hold the worlds together. The Emperor tells Ichigo that to the Shinigami, he is just a vessel or a shattered cup to be filled with power and then imprisoned forever. He claims that killing Ichigo is a mercy compared to the eternity of imprisonment the Soul Society has planned for him. Ichigo rejects both fates. He declares that he will stop Yhwach because if he doesn't, no one he cares about will have a future. As he focuses his energy, his sword begins to turn completely white. This is the awakening of his combined powers, human, Shinigami, Hollow, and Quincy. Ichigo accepts his monster side, growing a large horn on his head and releasing a swirling black energy. Yhwach calls this the color of chaos, the true essence of the Soul King's power.